From Mahtomedi High School, we proudly present another edition of high school girls basketball. Tonight, Metro East Conference play officially gets underway with the Mahtomedi Zephyrs at 9-1, hosting the Tartan Titans at 8-4. Hello everyone, I'm Mike Peden, joined by Alex Nagel. Alex, that band is serenading us here at Mahtomedi tonight. I can't think of a better way to start Metro East Conference play.
Well, I tell you what, this should be an exciting contest tonight. You know, I look at Mahtomedi, and of course they just got tripped up by Chisago Lakes here just recently. So I think with Mahtomedi, they've got to let that game get, put that game in the back burner. And their main focus has to be looking forward. And I think more importantly for Mahtomedi, Mike, I think they come into this contest because of that loss with a bit of a chip on their shoulder tonight.
Mahtomedi has won 3 straight since that loss to Chisago Lakes, including a 32-30 win over White Bear Lake. And Emma Grothaus continuing to do Emma Grothaus things, 23 points per game. She's going to be the tallest player on the floor tonight. How does that give the Zephyrs an advantage?
Well, no doubt about it. It really revolves what Mahtomedi does around Emma Grothaus, but don't forget about Annika Sogstad either. She's a great scorer, and she can do a lot on the defensive end as well.
Annika Sogstad having herself quite a senior season. Tartan, a young team, they're playing a bit short-handed tonight. Nevaeh Meister is out, injured her patella yesterday in practice, listed as day-to-day. So that's going to put the onus on Tartan's remaining 3 sophomores, Ysareia, Chevre, Ekarek is a junior, Ysareia, Chevre, Aurora Roberts, and Katia Cummings.
One thing that a lot of people don't know about is Ekarek is a very good rebounder, and she's going to have to be good on that front tonight if Tartan's going to have a chance in this one tonight.
It's the speed of Tartan against the poise of Mahtomedi. We'll have the starting lineups in a moment. You're watching high school girls basketball. Alex, the lights are dimmed, and we've got a little pre-game pump-up video. You don't see this at too many high schools.
Pretty neat, I like it.
Mahtomedi has a very strong in-house video production program. An old friend of mine, John Kamich, took part in this for 3 years, told me he aced it, and you and I, of course, are here for the Como game, and we saw the in-house student crew putting on their own production, which they make available for streaming at Mahtomedi's website.
Well, for a team that has high aspirations, such as Mahtomedi, this, I'm sure, gives them a lot more pep coming into this contest.
And our starters getting the spotlight treatment tonight.
I like it.
Tartan, led by head coach Justin Burgess, a man of few words. He is a graduate of Minneapolis North, but tells me that in games he kind of has his own zone. So he's a very mild-mannered figure and most coaches are like that, but Justin Burgess has an almost laser-like focus on game day.
You know, you look at this Tartan team, Mike, this is a team, as you alluded to, that's trying to take that next step, trying to create that identity for itself. It's not an easy process, but the one thing I'm looking for tonight from Tartan is that, you know, of course, this is a team that likes the up-tempo game. This is a team that likes to get into transition. More importantly, this is a team that is not afraid to take it right to the rim, to really attack the rim. Now that's going to be a real test tonight for them to do that against a team like Mahtomedi that has a lot of size down low.
Mahtomedi swept the regular season series a year ago. Once by 11 and once by 7. And with the starters introduced, we'll recap them quickly for you for Tartan. It's number 3, Katia Cummings. Number 4, Aurora Roberts. Number 15, Gabby Hicks, starting in place of Meister. Will probably do so until Meister returns. Ysareia Chevre, number 21. And Kendra Ekareke, number 23. Mahtomedi starting Annika Sogstad, number 10. Josie Underwood, number 11. Hannah Laughlin, number 12. Emma Grothaus, number 25. And Eve Farrell, number 32. As you know, Emma Grothaus going to Lehigh next year, where she'll join a pretty big list of Minnesota recruits at that university.
Great player and such a great presence on both ends of the floor, Mike, for Mahtomedi. You know, when we were here the last time, we saw the Zephyrs bolt out to a big lead. You know, if you're Tartan, obviously you don't want anything like that to happen. I think you want to keep this thing reasonably close, you know, to give yourself a chance.
Oh, you and I don't think we'll ever forget our last visit here.
I don't think so.
In a game that had 80 combined free throws, lasted 2 hours, and we even got a little serenade from AC/DC. Mahtomedi wearing the navy, Tartan wearing the white. Metro East Conference play. Both schools will play almost exclusively conference games the rest of the year. Hannah Laughlin gets us started by draining the runner. Mahtomedi still in the top 10 in Class 3A. They went down a little bit following the loss to Chisago Lakes, but the Wildcats, no slouch. Cummings for 3. That's off the mark. And without Meister available, she's a player who can get you some offense. Three-point shooting could be key. I spoke with Tartan's parents, and they expect Mahtomedi to play a zone. And so Tartan may want to break that through the outside shot.
Well, the Titans in man-to-man defense here in the early going. Let's see if they stick with that.
And the way Tartan plays, Annika Sogstad can't hit the 3. Grothaus is there, and she's fouled by Chevre. One issue for Tartan, they don't have a deep bench.
Right.
Only 8 players are suiting up, and foul trouble afflicted them in the loss to Minneapolis South, which I covered a little while ago. Emma Grothaus jokingly said her free throw percentage is somewhere around 50 the last time I visited the Zephyrs. I'm sure it's a little higher than that. But when she's not playing basketball, she also enjoys golfing.
Yes, she's a very good golfer.
Grothaus knocks down both. Zephyrs out to a 4-0 start. Ekareke, kick out to Cummings. Katia is her name, but she goes by Tia, and when her father Michael told me that, I'm thinking to myself, another Tia at Tartan? Cummings can't save it. Hicks all over Laughlin, and they're going to get Laughlin on the offensive foul.
Well, some good pressure defense there by Tartan.
And
forced the turnover.
One thing about this gym, whether or not there's a pep band, it gets really loud in here.
It does.
Sound carries quite well. Hicks out to Ekareke. Toe on the line, good for 2. Sogstad out on the wing. She's going to try to drive by Roberts. Can't do so. Underwood. Out to Sogstad, 16-footer, swish. And Sogstad's really picked up her scoring in her senior season as a blocking foul is called on Sogstad. But we were here when she got a career-high 28 against Como Park. 21 of them came from the free throw line. She had 21 of 22. Mahtomedi was 1 free throw short of a state record. They hit 45 of 54. The record is 46, set by Sauk Center. And that's going to be the second foul on Chevre, putting the elbow on Underwood. And again, for a thin Tartan team, that is not a good sign.
No.
Chevre's going to have to stay in there. Hicks got the deflection, and Chevre's going to have to be careful until they can get a sub, and they're going to do that right now. Dejanay McKinney will go in.
Well, Tartan willing to take some chances here on defense, Mike, showing some full on half-court pressure.
No, Chevre going to stay in there. So McKinney won't be able to sub in just yet. Well, this is going to be a very gutsy move regardless. Chevre's going to have to be careful with the 2 fouls. Another deflection by Hicks. It will stay with the Zephyrs. Now, we mentioned Mahtomedi's upset loss to Chisago Lakes. Tartan, without Meister, they suffered an upset at the hands of Robbinsdale Armstrong, a school that had not recorded a single win until Wednesday. It was a game Tartan led by 9, but they had trouble closing out, and that has been a theme in the early part of the season for the Titans, struggling to finish some games.
That loss to Chisago Lakes that you referred to, Mike, may have come at a really opportune time for the Zephyrs. I mean, if you're going to lose in December or early January.
And even though last time we were here we mentioned Mahtomedi will probably be favored in all their conference games, they're not going to get a big head about it because they haven't forgotten the sting. As Tartan forces a traveling violation on Laughlin, but the Zephyrs have not forgotten the sting of losing to De La Salle in the 4-3A section semifinal a year ago.
Well, I'll tell you what, here in the early going, Mike, we're seeing this Tartan Titan team doing a good job of pressure defense and trapping defense. They just forced the Zephyr turnover there.
Cummings out to Ekareke, and she walks. Farrell to Lydia Miley. Grothaus banks it off the glass from 15.
Great touch by Emma Grothaus on that, using the window.
Zephyrs off to an 8-2 start. Roberts, spin move, fires, can't get the bounce. Farrell goes up, yes. Timeout Titans, and this is a team, a matchup where you'd love to have Nevaeh Meister because she has the outside range to break a zone out of Mahtomedi or even just get them to extend the defense, but right now the Titans looking a little out of sorts here against the Metro East power.
Well, good timeout here, I think, by head coach Justin Burgess to get his squad calmed down. I think defensively, Mike, they've done what they've wanted to. It's just a matter of getting the stops.
13:27 left in the first half, and the Zephyrs looking like the top 10 team they have been all year. Mahtomedi, their only non-conference game the rest of the year will be at St. Anthony. The Huskies not up to snuff compared to a year ago. Tartan took care of them pretty handily, and that was in spite of an injury that Chevre suffered that benched her for most of the first half. But again, Mahtomedi has a good chance of going through conference play unscathed. Just because they have a good chance doesn't mean it's a certainty. Chevre, step back, no good. Grothaus looking for the kick out to Miley. Bullseye.
Wow.
Grothaus with the dime, Miley with the tray. And a foul away from the basket on Mahtomedi. Will go against Sogstad, and that is her second. So both teams with key players in foul trouble early.
Well, Tartan needs to boost a booster offensively, Mike. Down 13-2.
Hicks for three. Ysareia. No good, but another O board for the Titans. Ysareia weaves through traffic and scores.
And right there we see that willingness of Ysareia to attack the rim, and she did a great job there.
Tartan brings the pressure, and Mims forces the turnover. Mahtomedi is tough, but not invincible. We noted in the Como game, if Como didn't go down by 30, that could have been a close finish, and they went down big against Chisago Lakes, trailed by as much as 14. Came all the way back, but it wasn't enough. Chevre drains the runner, playing with 2 fouls. But again, Mahtomedi a little deeper than Tartan is. Grothaus weaves through, too strong, gets her own rebound, and will draw the foul on Ysareia. And she'll have a chance at 3. Emma Grothaus, however her senior season finishes, she's going to leave quite the legacy here at Mahtomedi.
I tell you what, she's so strong down low, Mike. Obviously, one of the keys for Tartan in this contest. They've got to be able to box out. They've got to prevent those second and third opportunities.
Cummings to Hicks. Out to Chevre. Used up the dribble and walked. Now Chevre, Katia Cummings, and Takara Mason out for the year with an injury. When they're not playing basketball, they all serve as officials for youth leagues.
Oh, nice.
In the summer. So Miley can't knock down another 3. Was close though. I should say they ref for youth games at the Maplewood Rec Center, and Katia Cummings, who's a 3-point threat, knocks it down. But it's kind of cool to see these players serve as officials in rec leagues, and I think it also helps them understand the game and understand what officials go through. Because I would say officiating maybe the toughest job in prep sports.
It is.
Coaching isn't easy either, as Cummings is going to be hit with a foul. Saley Underwood will shoot 2. Underwood doesn't score a lot, just 4 points a game. And while we joke about the 54 free throw attempts on Mahtomedi's end in the Como game, that's something Tartan wants to avoid because of how thin their bench is.
Yep.
And again, without Meister, that makes things even more difficult.
On a positive note, though, for Tartan, after that timeout they took here just a while back, they've looked a lot sharper, a lot more focused on offense, Mike. They're passing the ball better, they're moving better, and they're getting better shots and taking better shot selection, I think.
This is a young team, but one that will be fun to watch in the coming years. Hicks, a little too soft. Ekareke cleans it up.
And particularly if they can get second and third opportunities like that.
And that's going to be a foul on Ekareke, and that is her second. Emma Grothaus, deceptively quick.
That's, I was just going to say that. You don't really understand and you can't really appreciate how quick Emma Grothaus really is. She's got a great first step.
So Ekareke with 2 fouls. She'll go out in place of Roberts. Roberts will take her place, I should say. But Grothaus, you look at a player of her build, and she spent last summer in the weight room getting stronger. To the casual observer, maybe you might stereotype her as somebody who, doesn't have that kind of agility, but Emma Grothaus can beat you off the dribble. She's great down low, finishes well down there, but she has more than one way to pick up points. Unfortunately, she can't score from the free throw line, and so it remains a 6-point game. Cummings out to Roberts. Mims, top of the key. Bullseye.
One thing about hitting three-pointers, that's going to be key for Tartan here. That'll loosen things up down low.
Michael Cummings, the father of Tia, told me that's what Tartan would have to do to threaten Mahtomedi, and we've got a foul on the Titans for a hold. It's going to go against Roberts, and the Titans are out of fouls to give.
I think this is a critical stretch here for Tartan right now, Mike, with Ekareke on the bench.
And remember, Chevre has 2 fouls, but only 8 players dressed at the moment. And Hicks was a step behind. Gabby Hicks, nope, that was deflected, so my apologies. That is why I do not wear the stripes. But Tartan has reeled this deficit down to 3. Chevre with the runner. Grothaus sealed her off. They are not going to make it easy for Chevre, and again, Ysareia has to be careful. Ysareia already getting some looks from D1 schools, though. Underwood, pass deflected, picked off by Hicks. Chevre, nope, that's a walk.
Lost opportunity there for the Titans.
And that deflected pass that was intended for Chevre may have played a hand in that.
Yep.
But Mahtomedi will call a timeout because the Titans have been able to work this deficit down to 3.
Well, I think that's important, especially you mentioned a bit of foul trouble here for the Titans early on. Of course, Ekareke already saddled with 2 fouls, but here they are right within striking distance, down to single possession, only 3 points. You have to feel pretty good about yourself right now, I think, if you're Tartan.
And speaking of Tartan, Kendra Ekareke, who has 6 points, an honor roll student, 3 sport letter winner, soccer, basketball, track and field. And when she's not on the field, she volunteers on mission trips, shelters, and working with local kids in the Maplewood and Oakdale area.
Impressive.
And Angelina Mims, who hit the last 3 for the Titans, works with special needs students and victims of teen bullying. Some pretty neat stuff.
Yes.
Grothaus over to Laughlin, and when these two teams meet, Michael Cummings told me that he and Emma Grothaus's parents often have some fun chats as Grothaus works away in for the bucket, and that's because both of them originated from Ohio. Hicks can't knock down the 3. Cummings is there for the strong side rebound, throws it up, didn't have a great position there. Roberts comes up with it and drew the foul on Farrell, and kind of a bailout foul on Eve's part because Aurora was out of position.
Strong move by Roberts down low, grabbing that offensive rebound, initiating the contact, and now a chance here at the charity stripe to get it back within a single possession again.
Now here's something that will amaze you about Aurora Roberts. She's working her way back to 100%. She missed fall workouts and the AAU season after she was afflicted with Guillain-Barré syndrome. She was temporarily paralyzed. And so all of her teammates and all of the parents got together for a fundraiser to support Aurora, her mother dealing with cancer. And it's great to see Aurora, even though she missed both free throws, working her way back.
There's Roberts with the steal.
Fires, no good. Well, Tartan getting no lack of offensive rebounds, but Angelina Mims, that will stay with the Zephyrs, or the Titans. But Angelina Mims at 5'2", Grothaus at 6'3". That's a tall task, no pun intended. Titans will inbound it. 7:19 left in the first half. Roberts, spin move, yes.
I tell you what, she had a lot of speed on that spin move and got the opening.
Roberts averaging 7.7, and as she works her way back, her scoring could increase. Underwood out to Laughlin. There's Josie through the hole, and will draw the foul, shoot 2.
Nice move by Josie Underwood, going into traffic, drawing the foul.
Foul's on Roberts, and that is her second. And again, this is a problematic situation for the Titans. But Mahtomedi struggling from the free throw line, and that was something that complicated their efforts against Chisago Lakes. They missed a lot of key free throws, and that's what allowed the Wildcats to hang on for a 3-point win.
Missed free throws are one item that, more often than not, do come back to haunt you.
Sometimes you can get away with it, other times it sticks out like a sore thumb. Hicks goes baseline, and Mahtomedi slaps it out of bounds.
One thing that Mahtomedi does so well with their length is that they're able to get into the passing lanes and really disrupt the offensive flow of the opposition.
Chevre retrieves it. Hicks wanted the 3, fires. No good. Ekareke with another rebound. Chevre used up the dribble. Cummings, that's too strong, and that will go to the Zephyrs. For those wondering about Meister, she is expected to return before season's end. See how long it takes for her injury to heal. Grothaus missing. Tartan having trouble with the passing. And the Titans are lucky the Zephyrs couldn't get a handle on it.
Reminds me of a famous saying by former UCLA legend John Wooden. Be quick, but don't hurry.
Chevre going out, Mims going in. Ysareia double team, finds Mims. Now Ysareia has it. Eric Prose wanted a 5-second call, at least from what I saw there. And that was deflected by Saugstad, so Roberts can retrieve it. A lot of patience on this possession by the Titans. 20-16 the score in favor of the Zephyrs, and Tartan unable to penetrate.
Well, and you know, when you're going up against a bigger opponent like Mahtomedi, you've got to show that patience. You've got to be willing to look for the best opportunities.
Eric Prose in his second season leading the Zephyrs, 22-4 record a year ago. Tartan, 13-12 a year ago. Ysareia gets the friendly bounce.
And the patience pays off for Tartan.
And you wouldn't know it per se, but the Titans are within one possession here. They only trail by 2. Underwood looking to change that. 3 rattles out. McKinney, a little bit of a bump, but with scrappiness, gets Ysareia the rebound. Hicks for 3. That would have given the Titans the lead. And again, Tartan relying on that 3-point shot to extend that Mahtomedi zone. And another foul on the Titans. It's on McKinney, but Tartan in the penalty. So free throws coming for Annika Saugstad, who also plays tennis.
My sport. I was just going to say that.
She had 21 of 22 in the win over Como Park. Not a record, and she blanks there. Offensive foul on the Titans. And that's on Roberts, her 3rd.
Well, decision time now for Justin Burgess.
And the problem with that is he just doesn't have a lot of players in his primary rotation.
Yeah.
Again, this is where having Meister would help, but considering how thin his rotation is, and not out of spite, it's just by design, you can't afford to give up a lot of fouls. Grothaus with a spin move for 2. And that's not to say Mahtomedi goes 10, 11, 12 either, but they've got a few more bodies if they need it. Cummings for 3, off the heel. Mahtomedi looking to go transition, but Saugstad doesn't see it, and so they'll back off. And the other intangible in Mahtomedi's favor, chemistry, as Ysareia will be hit with her 3rd foul. And I don't know if this is part of the game plan, but you see Tartan, they're playing shorthanded, getting him into foul trouble.
Yeah.
Good strategy here. So you got Ysareia now with 3, and Ysareia has been your primary contributor offensively, but Mahtomedi still struggling to hit their free throws.
Well, the Zephyrs still plagued by missed free throws here in this first half, Mike. And as a result, Tartan still hanging in there, down only 4 points.
But Tartan's got to be careful here. Again, they've got players with 3 fouls. Normally you would take them out, but again, not a lot of options for Justin Burgess and this Tartan team. You know, having Maester again would help in this scenario, but you got to make the most of it. Well, Ysareia Chevre, it's only a matter of time before she finds a way to the rim.
When you see layups like that, Mike, that is a sign of teams working together really well, knowing what the other person is going to do.
But the intangible in Mahtomedi's favor is their chemistry. Now, Grothaus is part of a senior group that's played with each other since 8th grade. Tartan, led by mostly sophomores. And Tartan, their rise not as meteoric as Mahtomedi over the last few years. It's been a slow, incremental process, but they feel this is a Titans team down the road. It'll be fun to see. E. Farrell on the high-low, and Tartan couldn't do much with everybody in foul trouble. Mintz kicks out. Cummings not giving up on the 3, and that rattles out. This could be a prime opportunity for Mahtomedi to get a big run. No foul called there. Wow.
Wow.
That could have you could have easily called one on McKinney, and then called Grothaus on the reach in.
Yep.
I didn't see much from this vantage point.
Only her first foul.
But a break for the Titans nonetheless. Again, I'm not down there from my vantage point. It could have gone the other way on McKinney, but we play on. Cummings not giving up on that 3, but this one's going to be short, and Chevre can't save it. Her father told me that even though she goes by the same name as Tia Alberts, the all-time record holder in points at Tartan, he's hoping that Katia Cummings will one day be able to score like Tia Albert. Sogstad for 3, that's short. Good box out by McKinney, although she almost ran into Cummings. Let's see what Chevre does here. Again, she's got 2 fouls, and ill-advised pass there. And they're gonna call the foul on Cummings. You almost saw that coming from here.
Yeah.
Katia's quick, but Sogstad went full speed ahead. Sogstad gets this one to fall.
Gets them both.
Knocks down both. Also takes part in National Honor Society and Science Club. Chevre wanted to shoot. And the Zephyrs extend their lead to 7. Grothaus with the block. Another transition chance. Grothaus will take it all the way.
I tell you, watch Emma Grothaus. You don't know if she's a post player or a point guard sometimes.
The basketball version of the pick 6. Chevre fearless against the 6'3" post player.
Nice response by Tartan there. They needed that.
Less than a minute. Grothaus looking for help. Has Farrell, but Farrell opts to pass out and reset. Deflected by Cummings. No backcourt. Whether or not Mahtomedi holds, if you're Justin Burgess, I think you're just hoping to get into halftime without any more fouls.
Ooh, Sogstad might have gotten away with a push-off there.
She got called for a 5-second violation, though. Katia Cummings with a heads-up defense. And Tartan will have a chance to get some points on the board.
Well, certainly I think you have to appreciate the poise that this Titan team has shown on the road in a hostile environment, right? And especially for a team that's trying to make it to the next level.
Five seconds. Cummings looking for help. Chevre pump fakes, fires. I don't know if that's what Tartan wanted, but again, they've had trouble penetrating the Mahtomedi zone all game. And as a result, the Zephyrs build a 7-point lead, 29-22 as we go to intermission.
Well, you know, still, I think if you're head coach Justin Burgess, you've got to feel pretty good where you're at. You're down only 7 points. You're right within striking distance. You know, despite all the foul troubles, you've shown a little more consistency on the offensive end with good passing and good movement. So if they can clean some things up, this could be a great ballgame in the second half, Mike.
That being said, Tartan's going to have to keep an eye on the fouls. Again, 2 players with 3.
Yeah.
If it turns into a foul fest, Tartan's in big trouble.
Right.
We'll take a break and come back with the second half. You're watching Metro East High School Girls Basketball. Mahtomedi leads Tartan 29-22. Mike Peden and Alex Nagel back with you. Mahtomedi hosting Tartan as we start Metro East Conference play today. Zephyrs lead the Titans 29-22. Emma Grothaus leading everybody with 13 points. Nobody else has more than 4, but again, you've got a 6'3" post player who's the tallest on the floor. You take advantage.
No surprise here with Grothaus in double figures already. You know, I think when you look at this contest from a Tartan standpoint, it's got to be a bit of a disappointment. You came out of that one timeout much more focused, I think much more relaxed. They showed more consistency on offense with better passing, and even some offensive rebound, which against this tall Mahtomedi team is no easy feat. But on the other hand, you're looking at some foul trouble here now with some of your key players. And now Justin Burgess, I think, is faced with a somewhat dubious task of not only keeping this team close, particularly that's going to be important in the early minutes of this second half, but also trying to keep his squad out of real foul trouble.
And that is going to be the challenge. For Tartan, Kendra Ekareke leads with 8, and Ysareia Chevre has 6. Those are your notables for the Titans. But you've got 2 players with 3 fouls, Ekareke and Roberts. And again, not a lot of options if foul trouble becomes a thing. You know, Nevaeh Meester has to wait until her patella injury heals. They got x-rays yesterday and it didn't show any tears or breaks. It just has to heal up, and that's why she's day-to-day. Was hoping to play today, but considering what happened last night.
You know, don't forget, Mike, this Titan team had several chances here in that first half to tie this game up. They were within a single possession twice and just couldn't quite get over the hump.
And they've had some trouble knocking down 3-pointers, which doesn't do you a lot of favors to break the Mahtomedi zone. Grothaus to Sogstad, pulls up, got it. Sogstad averaging 15.2 this year. Chevre averaging close to 20. Cummings knocks down the tray.
Big shot by Cummings there.
She hit 5 triples against Minneapolis South. Wasn't enough for the win. Cummings had to be careful there. Again, 2 players with 3. Grothaus spin move. Ekareke gets out of the way again, having to play with 3 fouls. And Grothaus just piling up the points and the rebounds here. Roberts, she walked. (33-25). Mahtomedi just one loss this year against Chisago Lakes. Tartan 8-4. Losses to St. Croix Lutheran, Armstrong, Minneapolis South, and Irondale. Tartan on the run.
Yep.
And another walk.
And another missed opportunity for the Titans there.
And Justin Burgess looking a little bewildered on the bench. Justin Burgess, in his first year, graduate of Minneapolis North, won a state title with the Polars in 2003. Was previously an assistant for the Totino Grace boys basketball team. Cummings times the pass, gets the steal, and Grothaus hacks her from behind. Now that's just the second foul on Grothaus, but if Tartan's going to win this game, it's going to be through that aggressive defense of theirs.
Well, gutsy move there by Cummings with a steal and going all the way to the rim and drawing the foul on Grothaus especially. You know, you mentioned, of course, Tia Albert's records at Tartan, but don't forget Jesse Stomsky, too, who graduated from Tartan, then played at Wisconsin.
Tia, part of a group that first played together in 7th grade. She also plays for the Minnesota Charity Warriors, the AAU program run by Patrick Adams. If that name sounds familiar, that's where Andrea Adams played her summer ball.
Yep.
I wonder what happened to Andrea. Cummings splits, that makes it a 7-point game. Grothaus leans in for the score.
Off balance, and she still gets it to go in.
That's a senior IQ move there, using her body to get the basket. Hicks in trouble. Finds Roberts, too high. Ekareke can't handle it. Last touch by the Zephyrs, though.
I'll tell you, with that long reach that Mahtomedi has with all their players, it's really hard for the Titans to operate down low.
It's tough for anybody that has to go against the 6'3" lanky frame that is Grothaus. She pulls up, banks it off the window.
Great touch by Grothaus on that.
Emma Grothaus just outside the top 10 in the state scoring race. Didn't see as much action over the holidays. Mahtomedi, as Justin Burgess called timeout, ran over Sartell St. Stephen and St. Cloud Tech. So Mahtomedi getting a test here. We mentioned Hastings. They were off to a strong start. Hill Murray is a team that could make a splash. And Simley.
They certainly have before.
They have. And Simley with a young core, much like Tartan.
Right.
So the Metro East will have some fun competition this year. And these two teams will meet in about a month, February 2nd. You imagine Macer will be back to full health by then. That rematch could be fun to watch.
You know, for a guy who's pretty much hooked on the Northwest Suburban Conference, when you get this exposure to other conferences, particularly the Metro East, it's really a breath of fresh air.
Indeed.
And you know, now here, after back-to-back scores here by Emma Grothaus, here's Tartan in a critical spot now, down double digits again at 37-26 at the 14:44 mark of this second half. It's going to be really important now for the Titans to crawl their way back and not let this get out of hand.
I was wondering if you would ever come back here after I made you sit through 2 hours in the Mahtomedi Como Park game.
It's really not a bad drive over.
That game, it took 2 hours to complete, 80 combined free throws, and as we noted before, at one point, the music system, audio system jammed, and they couldn't stop AC/DC's Back in Black.
That night had everything.
That was one of the strangest games and the longest games I've ever called. And most of my crew, including Abe, was here for it. We just referred to it as that game. We have a foul on the Zephyrs.
I'm sure our mentor, the late Tony Gear, would have had something to say about that.
sure he would have had a lot of things to say about that. Foul is on Laughlin, her second. Chevre will shoot 2.
I believe her nickname is Z, is it not?
It is Z, which isn't surprised. Does community volunteering. Splits there. And Chevre, whatever happens this season, she is part of a deep class of 2020 standouts. Paige Becker's among them. And if you're wearing Tia Albert's old number, I guess you better have some skill. Roberts able to deflect it, but Mahtomedi will launch the 3. They can't hit. Grothaus is able to get a tip. Sogstad will try. She's short on the 3. The high carom will bounce into Sogstad's hands.
Good job by Sogstad getting the long rebound.
She chases that down. Couple of O-boards here for the Zephyrs.
Oh.
Sogstad, oh, beautiful cut. Couldn't finish. Hicks stays in bounds, but she's going to be hit with the offensive foul.
Wow.
Gabby Hicks, a member of the National Honor Society.
That's only the first foul on Gabby Hicks.
But unfortunate because it looked like they finally got a stop and Mahtomedi gets to keep it instead. Grothaus breaks free. When you're hot, you're hot.
I'll tell you one thing about Grothaus I think a lot of people don't appreciate is her soft touch with those short shots.
And her performance, crucial. Remember, in the loss to Chisago Lakes, you weren't on hand for it, but she had a slow first half, only had 6 points. And that allowed the Wildcats to get that big lead early in the second half. The fact that Grothaus got involved early and often, paying big dividends here for the Zephyrs. And the Titans looking a little flabbergasted.
Good job by Underwood on defense there. Eve Farrell will get a rest too for Mahtomedi. Oh, look at Grothaus with that steal. My goodness.
Cummings threw it right into her hands. And Chevre is fouled after getting the rebound. But you cannot leave any pass too soft when Grothaus is lurking.
No.
Pretty good crowd on hand for this conference game. Ysareia up and under. And the conference games, get some good rivalries. A lot of writers will put emphasis on it. I might be one of the outliers that maybe shrugs it off a little bit just because we have a carrying violation on Sogstad. But if you win your conference, it's not like in the NCAA where you're pretty much assured a spot in the tournament. But
it does help with the seeding process.
It gives you some leverage. Even though Mahtomedi is a 3A school, Tartan's a 4A, if you can get into your section as a conference champion.
It does carry some weight.
Well, especially in the Metro East. Ysareia blocked from behind. That was Chevre, I should say. Especially in a conference like the Metro East, the Lake Conference with Hopkins and Wayzata this year, the Northwest Suburban, Centennial, Champlain Park. How about their effort as of late? Roberts goes inside. Champlain Park knocking off Cretin Durham Hall and Centennial, and they're back in the picture. Roseville beat Centennial at the Holiday Tournament.
Park Center was squaring off with Centennial tonight, Mike, over at Centennial.
Foul on the Titans. And that's a big one, but going back to our discussion, conferences like Northwest Suburban, Suburban East, they've been tough. Metro East looks to be
I was just going to say that
rise.
The Lake Conference with Hopkins, Ysareia, and even Minnetonka's pretty much murderer's row when you stop and think about it.
Yeah, Lake Conference this year looks to be a two-horse race, finally. Well, I shouldn't say that. Minnetonka had a strong team a couple years ago.
Yeah.
As Zephyrs called timeout, but Ysareia undefeated. And the first meeting with Hopkins is January 12th. That could have big sway on the 4A seeding. And in the South Suburban, Eastview, Lakeville North. Those two are always in the thick of it.
I was just going to say here during the pause, we look at the score 39-31 with the Zephyrs ahead. I think Tartan has done a reasonably good job of weathering the latest storm when they were down double digits, getting it back in single-digit range here at 8 points.
I had a lot of respect for this Tartan team. I've seen them play twice. They beat a scrappy Stillwater team, but when I heard about what Roberts went through, as we have a foul on the Zephyrs, you have to be amazed and admired at the fact she's able to play. Didn't missing any time after encountering, or I should say, after being diagnosed with a syndrome that left her paralyzed for a time. I mean, that has to be a scary situation. So let's see if the Titans can capitalize off this turnover. 11:30 left, plenty of time, and Tartan been able to hang around. Got as close as 2, but they have yet to take the lead. And we've got a foul on the Zephyrs, so Mahtomedi is starting to get a little careless here.
Well, I've always said, Mike, especially for an up-and-coming team such as Tartan, the best way to get your mettle tested is on the road against a quality opponent, and such is the case tonight.
And again, this is a young team, new regime with Justin Burgess. But needless to say, Burgess has some credentials. Minneapolis North, a famed program in boys basketball. Cummings looks off, and it is. And first time I covered this team, when Justin told me about his background, he and I started talking about how North returned to prominence with Larry McKenzie. But when Minneapolis North is attached to your name, people wake up and pay attention. That's going to be a foul on Cummings, her third. On the other end, that last foul was on Annika Sogstad. That is her third, so Mahtomedi's got a couple of players they're going to have to keep an eye on. No, they're going to call it on Roberts instead. That is her fourth. Even though Roberts has struggled tonight.
Well, it looks like
McKinney's got to go
ready
in.
to make the change here right now.
Yeah, you can't leave Roberts in there with 4 fouls at this stage.
McKinney's now in for the Titans.
And this is one of the conferences, many are like this. Some exceptions include Tri-Metro, Northwest Suburban, who are split in 2, but this is one conference where you play everyone twice. Miley for 3. Off the mark. Hicks a little apprehensive, and there's a double whammy. She's going to pick up her third.
Another foul on Gabby Hicks. I believe that's her second, Mike. Oh, it's her third. I take that back.
So whatever happens here, remember, you get a rematch in conference play. Grothaus fakes the 3, goes for the deuce, and drains it. Emma Grothaus.
Such great touch by Grothaus on those mid-range and short jumpers.
Emma all over, leaving her signature in this game. 41-31 the score. Hicks, that's off. Chevre lost her grip, able to save it. Cummings in trouble. Turned a broken play into a pair.
Cummings certainly made the best out of a bad situation there.
Chevre with the steal.
Wow. Tartan just not catching any breaks.
Tried to wedge yourself through a hole, but 1-on-3, not going to go in your favor most of the time.
Nope. That's Chevre now with 3 fouls.
And that snuffed out any potential momentum you had there. So Chevre's going to stay in, and again with Tartan, they pretty much have to keep their players in because they only have 7. And we're going the other way. McKinney drawing the charge on Grothaus. That is her 3rd. So Sogstad and Grothaus now with 3.
This is getting very interesting all of a sudden.
Tartan refusing to back down. And I suppose when you're playing the underdog card without one of your key starters, you might as well.
Yeah.
And they're in separate classes, so even if you lose to the Zephyrs, it doesn't do a lot of damage. Chevre from 15. That doesn't fall. Foul on Cummings, that is her 3rd, so Tartan has 4 players with 3 fouls, 1 with 4. And the situation's starting to look a little dicey here with 8:57 left.
Burgess is calling a timeout.
Titans have 2 remaining. Both teams out of fouls to give, so we'll have free throws the rest of the way. But Tartan, this is looking a little dicey here. Mahtomedi, even though they've had trouble making free throws, they have a deeper roster.
Right. That's big coming down the stretch here with just under 9 minutes left.
And Meister, we mentioned, the second leading scorer for the Titans, averaging 13.2. Does a pretty good job creating offense on her own, but right now,
still, I think you have to admire this Titan team. You know, they were down by 11 here not that long ago, and they've managed to get it back within single-digit range. The thing of it is, they haven't always been successful when they've had the opportunities.
They've been competitive in just about every game. The only time where things got out of hand was Minneapolis South. Yeah. Morgan Hill had 34 in that one, and Solana Cushing was able to launch it from 3-point range. But with a lot of these teams, Mahtomedi went through this as well. They had 4 wins before Emma Grothaus came in. The following year, 17. When you build a program, it's not always immediate or meteoric. Sometimes it's gradual. Mahtomedi took them a little while. But that's going to be the 4th on Ysareia as she bumps Sogstad. So
that's Ysareia, I believe.
Yes, it is on Ysareia. So Roberts and Ysareia both have 4.
Wow.
But, you know, Tartan going through this right now, some growing pains. You're getting adjusted to a new coaching system, and you know, overall, not a school that has a ton of history in 4A compared to Hopkins or Eastwood,
right,
even though, as you noted, they have 2 great D1 standouts, and Jesse Stomsky, who went to Wisconsin, and Tia Elberg, who's finishing her career at Fresno State.
I checked here earlier today. I believe Tartan's only state appearance was back in 1995.
Sogstad makes both free throws. She's up to 8, but the Titans in a lot of trouble right here. They trail by 10, and several of their players in big foul trouble. High low to Ysareia, the junior with 12.
Great pass by McKinney. She really had to thread the needle, but got it in there. Wow. That's 4 on Cummings now.
And these are the fouls you just have to avoid. Again, if you have a deeper bench, maybe you take more chances, but it's not a wise move there.
Looks like number 11, Angelina Mims, is now in.
And Luke is at the line. And here's an example of the chemistry Mahtomedi possesses. The night before they played De La Salle in the Tip-Off Classic, rematch of the 4-3A semifinal last year, Sogstad, Grothaus, several of the teammates got together and baked cookies. But again, they've got leadership, wisdom, poise, all intangibles that Tartan hopes to accumulate over time, and there's plenty of reason to believe they can, but right now, Mahtomedi's experience is showing.
Good job by Mims. Zephyrs almost got a free one there.
Ysareia to McKinney. Wow.
Sogstad had to be a little careful there with those 3 fouls.
Farrell got a little bit of a push off. Replay on. Chevre tracks down the rebound. Again, she's got to be careful. Use up the dribble. Needs help. Ysareia goes back. And that will allow the Titans to reset. Ysareia, spin move, got it.
Well, now the Titans willing to attack down low. Grothaus again has to be careful with those 3 fouls. And just like that, it's a 6-point game, Mike.
Eric Prose calls timeout. Tartan not going away. The odds are certainly stacked against them when you look at it from a numbers standpoint, but you got to give them credit for hanging around. And again, with Metro East teams playing each other twice, the rematch between these two could be
that'll be a
pretty
fun
tantalizing.
Well, your head coach Eric Prose now talking to your Mahtomedi Zephyr team. I think you want to stress composure. You want to stress playing smart and play to your strengths. That's going down low.
Well, that's Emma Grothaus. If you're Mahtomedi, this is Grothaus time, I would presume. But again, you got a solid second score in Annika Sogstad.
Well, and you look at Annika Sogstad, so many people talk about Grothaus with her long reach, and rightly so. But let's not forget about Sogstad either. At 5'10", she's got those long arms, and she can make that work for her on both ends of the floor, Mike.
Crunch time possibly looming, but again, Tartan has 2 players with 4 fouls, Ysareia and Roberts. And only a 7-player rotation. 8 players have suited up. But if Tartan can somehow complete this comeback, well, that would be a huge story. But Mahtomedi has held their own, and they've seen their share of tough opponents. The loss of Chisago Lakes, and with White Bear Lake, they squeaked out a 2-point win, 32-30. Mahtomedi throws it away. Here comes Chevre. Right into traffic. It will stay with the Titans.
Well, I tell you, that aggressive defense, though it's resulted in some fouls, it certainly paid some dividends as well. And it did there. Chance here to draw closer now for the Titans.
Mims out to Ysareia. Hands it back off to Chevre. Kick out. Ysareia pump fakes. Tried the bounce pass. And that's a kick ball. .609 left. Who's going to step up for the Titans? That's the question. Ekareke, strong game with 14. Chevre, they've kept a close eye on her. Off the screen, player in her face, no good, and Grothaus wrestles the rebound away. Count it.
Oh, and the charge. Wow.
McKinney with another big defensive stop.
Wow.
It's just the second on Eve Farrell. But that's a big play there by McKinney. Remember, no restricted zone in high school. Chevre sees a lane, gets the bounce.
Wow, great move.
4-point game. Mahtomedi looked like they were going to pull away. Tartan refusing to back down. Grothaus, spin move. Chevre.
And a 2-on-1.
No, that's a walk. That's a walk.
Wow.
Double dribble. Yeah, Gabby Hicks. Not necessarily the player you want to bring the ball up.
I think she was more excited than we are.
And that cost her. You got to keep your head in the game because Tartan hasn't completed the comeback yet. She is a National Honor Society member, though, so Gabby Hicks will have a bright future ahead of her no matter what. And a foul on the Titans, depending on who it's on. That is on Hicks, her fourth.
That would be her fourth, yep. Well, this is where that senior leadership for Mahtomedi really gets tested here in these crunch time situations. Up by 4, just under 5 minutes left. This is where you got to make free throws.
And Laughlin blanks. Saley Underwood going back in. We have yet to see Katia Cummings return with her 4 fouls, so photo finish could be brewing, but it's going to be fun no matter what. So Tartan gets another chance after Hicks committed the unforced error. Ekareke, long 2 is good!
Oh. Well, I tell you what, this Tartan team is playing with a lot of confidence right now, Mike.
But they've got 3 with 4 fouls. They're going to have to keep an eye out for that. That being said, Titans did have a chance to get accustomed to playing without Meister. She wasn't available for the Armstrong game, so Tartan has that experience in their pocket. McKinney again!
Wow! How about that?
Charge! I don't believe it!
Unbelievable.
Dejanay McKinney, the senior, taking all honors classes.
Well, here's a chance that Tartan's been wanting to have all night, and here they have it. It's come down on the 4-minute mark.
You got to hang on to the ball. McKinney, by the way, hopes to break the long jump record in track this spring.
Good patience here by the Titans.
And listen to the crowd. Chevre in traffic. Well, not a good idea. Foul on McKinney.
Well, that'll be up for Ekareke.
Okay, then. And that was their leading score. That might be the dagger for the Titans. Kendra able to create so much. Cummings going to go back in, but Tartan without their playmaker. And Chevre tried to take it herself. You can't blame her for that, but
again, this is where you've got to make free throws if you're Mahtomedi.
double bonus the rest of the way for the Zephyrs, and losing Ekareke, again, that could be the dagger. Even though we still have a long way to go, but Other players have had a tough time creating.
Good job by the sophomore Underwood, knocking both of those attempts down. Give Mahtomedi a bit more breathing space.
Mahtomedi 14 of 21, Tartan 2 of 6. And in games that Mahtomedi has won, getting to the free throw line has been their strength. You saw that in the Como game, knocking down 45 free throws. In the loss to Chisago, they had a rougher time with it. Cummings for 3, off the mark. Another foul on the Titans. It's on McKinney, her second, but Emma Grothaus going to the line with a chance to extend this lead. Grothaus with 23. She has scored 20 or more in 8 of Mahtomedi's 10 games this year. And that includes the 32 in the win over De La Salle. Aurora Roberts going to go back in and place in McKinney. She gets a salute from the Tartan fans. No matter what happens today, you have to admire her grit. She did everything she could.
Yep.
Now the game's still not over, but she did everything she could to give Tartan the win. And when you look at a game like this, I know I've said this many times, but this is where you wish you had Nevaeh Meester in the lineup, because she can do a lot. But the rematch between these two teams is going to be extremely fun to watch. Chevre through traffic, threw it up, and she's unhappy with herself. Felt she cost the Titans a chance there. Mahtomedi can eat up more clock with a 5-point lead. And with so many players in foul trouble for the Titans, not a whole lot they can do.
Ooh, Mims almost got that one. Wow.
And there's a foul on Chevre, her 4th. And much like the Como game, even though Mahtomedi is not going to be anywhere close to the 54 free throw attempts, it will be free throws that will do the job here for the Titan, or the Zephyrs. And as we said going into the broadcast, it was the speed of Tartan against the poise of Mahtomedi, and the poise is winning out here in crunch time.
Yep. Well, and you know, again, you just point to things such as senior leadership, and that's something that the Zephyrs have.
Timeout Tartan, but Mahtomedi slowly pulling away here. They lead by 7.
Well, the Zephyrs still not out of the woods just yet. Still 2:18 left to play here in regulation.
And Tartan, of course, won't make any excuses about Meester's absence, but you know, not having her and her scoring, you know, even though she's just another sophomore.
Well, it certainly takes away an important element.
Right.
Certainly.
Having her in could have made a big difference here. That being said, you know, this is a game as well. We got some younger fans. Well, they're being shown on the monitor here.
Exciting time for them.
Remember, we do have in-house production, in-house broadcast here at Mahtomedi Land, and looking ahead at Tartan's schedule, we'll see when Meester returns, but you've got another tough test with Hill Murray.
Yep.
Then they'll get a couple of games to relax a bit. North St. Paul, that'll be a win. I'll tell you right now, that'll be a win.
Yes.
Henry Sibley, they haven't had a lot of reason to be feared. Hastings off to a solid start. They did lose to Burnsville, though, and struggled a little bit at the St. Olaf Invitational. Simley, though, could be an interesting one. That will take place on the 23rd. And another chance for the Titans to get a win. They had their chances here with the Zephyrs. And Chevre not done yet. Takes the Euro step home.
Gutsy move by Chevre, taking it in.
You got to take chances, though. You're down by 5. But 4 players with 4 fouls. And unless you get the steal.
Sogstead and Underwood carefully and cautiously navigating the waters out here in the face of that pressure defense. Oh.
And not much the Titans could do there. Emma Grothaus puts the spin move on Chevre on the other end. A blocking foul on Underwood. No, they're going to call it on Grothaus instead. That's your 4th, but you can absorb that a little more when you're up by 7 here in Tartan.
Yeah.
They've struggled at the free throw line tonight. And that's when they get there. They're only 2 of 6. Make it 2 of 7. Tartan.
This, obviously, for Tartan, this is where you've got to make free throws with a $125 and change left.
Chevre up to 12, but again, with all but 1 player on the floor with 4 fouls, you can't really play foul and chase, and you almost have to if you're trying to get the comeback here. Grothaus with 28.
Oh, what a steal!
Chevre with the poke. Tartan got to be smart here. Chevre weaving through.
Oh, what a great block.
Eve Farrell was ready for, and that should do it.
Huge block by Farrell there.
Eve Farrell was ready for her, and that will be enough. Aurora Roberts fouls out. Mahtomedi gonna get out of here with the win. This game was closer than I thought. I wasn't sure how Tartan would fare without one of their big-name players, but they played well. Just Mahtomedi's poise coming up clutch here.
Despite the disappointment of how this one was likely to end now, I think if you're head coach Justin Burgess, you can look at this contest as a big step forward, I think, for this young team coming into a hostile environment against a quality opponent, really having a shot there in the last 5-6 minutes, and they just couldn't quite get things to go their way when they needed them to.
Tartan got within 2, but they never led.
Right.
And when Ysareia fouled out, I suspected that would be the finishing blow, and it appears it will play out that way. Justin Burgess calling a timeout. You might as well use it, but when Ysareia went out, as we noted, without a starter in Meister, with the thin rotation they already have, Zakara Mason was supposed to be on this roster, but injury is sidelining her for the year. You have to play really smart defense, and Tartan just not quite there yet, but a game like this, after being dominated by Mahtomedi a year ago, where they weren't bad losses, but knowing that they were in it, and the sting that's probably going to come from a game like this where they were so close could be a big motivator, not just for the rematch on February 2nd, but for the remainder of Metro East Conference play.
Absolutely.
And as we noted before, building a program up takes time.
Well, I think there's a famous saying out there, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Not even UConn became the dominant power they were right away. It took Gino Auriemma a few years, and even the Minnesota Lynx Cheryl Reeves, she had a losing record her first year.
Yep.
You almost never hear about that now. But Mahtomedi is an example of where Tartan wants to be.
Yep.
Look where they were without Emma Grothaus. They went from 4 wins to 17, but they were getting dominated in section play. It wasn't until last year where they really became a big power. Gabby Hicks missing the 3. So where Tartan wants to be is where Mahtomedi is. But Mahtomedi, Eric Pro's going to call a timeout, but doesn't have a whole lot to worry about here with 21.8. Mahtomedi is where Tartan wants to be maybe in a year or two, and if Justin Burgess is able to build up the program a bit, you see what he's been able to do. And when you have a team that sticks together, Mahtomedi's senior group, Tartan, that group of sophomores, they played with each other for 4 years with the exception of Cummings. When you see the results, when you see just how close you are, that could be a big motivator.
Oh, absolutely.
I was talking,
and I think building some depth along the way will only improve their chances as well.
emotions, attitude can go a long way. I was speaking with Michael Cummings earlier. He was cordial enough to give me some notes on the Titans, and he and I have been following the prep scene for a while. He noted how much influence it can have. St. Paul Central, one example. You've got a great player in Eliza Carlin, but a lot of turmoil outside of her, and that's dragged a once prestigious program down to the cellar. Tartan struggled a bit without Tia Elberts. Well, even when she was there, I mean, that was all Tartan had. The Titans now trying to build the program with a little more depth, a little more balance, and they have that potential with Meister, foul on Mims. You've got Meister and Chevre, Ekereke, she's a junior, but she'll be back next year. And Aurora Roberts could be another player of the future. Even Cummings, when she gets that three-point stroke going, can be a big threat.
And you know, you look at this senior-laden Mahtomedi team with Underwood at the line right now. Underwood seems to be the forgotten element, you know, as far as the senior leadership.
If your name isn't Grothaus or Sogstad, I think that's the case for most of them. But when I spoke to them a month ago, they all talked about how badly they wanted to get the state, because I think they know that this is their best chance for the foreseeable future to get there. Mims misses another three. And so picking up gritty wins like this against a Tartan team that wanted to play the upset card and almost did. No, they're hungry. They still remember the loss to De La Salle last year, and they know this is our best shot to get to state. Let's make the most of this. Traveling violation on McKinney, but it's of no consequence here. And when you've got the anchor in Emma Grothaus, you can do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And you can grind your way through a game like this. Grothaus will finish with 28. Sogstad with 11. Mahtomedi withstands a couple of Tartan surges for a 55-46 win. But I think this was a great primer for what we'll see out of the Metro East.
Yeah.
With teams like Mahtomedi and Tartan, you'll know they'll want to make some noise as conference play continues. But what a great way to start conference play.
Great ball game tonight for sure, Mike. And I'm sure that head coach Eric Prose can probably heave a bit of a sigh of relief now and perhaps forego that Excedrin PM come bedtime tonight.
And as he knows, everyone knows, there are no easy outs in conference play, at least with a team like this. So every game is going to be a battle, and they're not going to walk over anybody. We'll try to get a word with Emma Grothaus before we wrap things up. You're watching high school girls basketball. Mahtomedi defeats Tartan 55-46. And I'm joined by Emma Grothaus, who scored 28 tonight. Emma, this was a very gritty conference battle with Tartan. They came within two twice. You were able to hold them off. How did you do it?
It was just our mental toughness and our ability to hold the ball on offense and get good shots.
Talk about your poise, because that was a big element, especially late when Tartan got within two and you were able to win the game with free throws, and you had a couple of nice moves to the bucket.
Yeah, it was just a really good win because they always want to come out. We're like their biggest rival. They play their best game against us every time, and so we just knew we had to beat them and take care of business.
How does a game like this, prime you for Metro East Conference play because, Tartan on the rise, Hill Murray looking pretty good. So I think this gives you a precursor that there's going to be some pretty good battles.
Yeah. Our conference is tough. We have a couple of the top teams in their section and class. So this was a good team to battle and a good first win for a conference opening.
Last time we paid a visit, you were upset by Chisago Lake. Since then, you've won 4 straight. So what did you learn from that loss, and how is that feeling you as you continue to make that push to state that you've talked about?
It's just like when they get close, you always have to just go harder than them and do like one more push than them, and then just keep poise on the offensive side, which we did a better job tonight than against Chisago.
And then you mentioned in the summer you spent some time in the weight room working to get your strength up. You're deceptively quick as well. We saw you go to the rack a couple of times, and one time you got the basketball version of the pick 6. So what would you credit to the agility that you possess?
That's always been one of my natural abilities. I've always been super really tall, but I've also had my good hand-eye coordination and ability to control my body. So it's just a problem of getting stronger, so I don't get pushed around, which I've been doing.
Well, you weren't pushed around tonight, and how relieving is it to come out of here, with the victory? Because there aren't too many easy games. Even the Como game, you had to sweat that one out. So what does it say about the poise and the determination of this team where you can withstand so many runs from all of these high-caliber teams?
Yeah, they came into our own gym, and they were rocking it. It was so loud in here. And so it was just a good win because, again, they always just play their best game against us. So.
Well, I'm sure a lot of teams will be coming out to play their best game, so this was probably a good precursor for what's to come. But, with the start of the calendar year, what else are you hoping to accomplish that will get you ready for perhaps a run to state?
Well, our first goal is just to win conference and just to take every game one at a time and take no one, play hard against everyone. Yeah.
Well, it's always good to start conference play 1-0. Yeah. And before we wrap up, who do you want to say hi to?
Hi, Grandma.
Well, congrats on the win. It was a hard-fought one, and you definitely earned it with the 28 and just hanging in there. So congrats on the win, and we'll see what the future holds.
Awesome. Thank you.
As Emma Grothaus of Mahtomedi, that wraps up our coverage. For our crew, I'm Mike Peden. Thank you for watching.